Welcome back to the Last Minute Fantasy Scramble. So we got the crew here today. We got just Bud Stanio, Buffalo Bud Stanio up here, and we got me, Kevin K1 Mac McCartney, and welcome to the show. We're here to answer all of your fantasy football questions, break down today's games, and really get you prepared for this crazy Week 7. No Buffalo Bills, no Dallas Cowboys, no Chargers. A lot of teams are looking really depleted. I think both Bud and I are starting without a kicker in one of our leagues, so it should be fun. It's going to be a mess out there. People are dropping players that you got to be out on the look for, so a lot's going on. Bud, how you doing today?
Good. Really excited for all these games. As far as the kicker, I just changed it. I put Nick Folk in.
Come on.
I was going to.
Gotta ride it out. Come to the dark side. No kickers.
Yeah, I'm over kickers being in leagues, so I'm with you there. But yeah, definitely. I had to. It's Nick Folk is actually slated for a decent game against the Jets. One of the prop bets was over under 1.5 kicks. I wasn't able to get that one in, but I'd definitely be hitting the over on that.
Oh, man.
But yeah,
I need gets all the bets in.
Yeah, no, but I need every point I could get because I'm on a revenge tour in our work league and I'm playing Brady Gaga and they're struggling really bad, so I really want to win this game. And I'm hoping I can with a Tua Waddle stack today.
Absolutely, that's good though. I really like, and not just saying this as a Dolphins fan, but I do like Tua this week. I like, I feel that there is going to be a lot of fireworks in this game. Neither defense is playing particularly well, and this is something that it hurts me to say because the Dolphins defense coming into this season was expected to be a top defense in the league. Last week it did help that, it helped for the Jaguars that the Dolphins weren't playing either of their starting cornerbacks. But speaking of that, we do have some injury updates rolling in. Bud, would you like to let us know what's going on as far as injuries are concerned so far?
So as far as the Dolphins are concerned, we were just talking about them. Devontae Parker is out. That just came out from the Dolphins, along with Hunter Long. Yeah. Hunter Long's not really a factor, but Devontae Parker being out means Waddle is pretty much a clear-cut number one wide receiver there today. I expect the other guys to jump in and get some work. Startable. Waddle is definitely good as a wide receiver 3 or flex play. Let me go back to my feed here because I have everything up. And so I'm just going to kind of jump around a little bit. So we got the Giants. Basically, virtually everybody is out for the Giants. If it's a wide receiver, Saquon Barkley is out. But Kenny Golladay is out. Kadarius Toney is out. Sterling Shepard is out. I know that the Giants have an uphill battle here, but receiving-wise, I really like Dante Pettis. We talked about him just before the show. I think he's going to get some work, but also Evan Ingram is probably going to benefit the most out of all these inactives today because there's really nobody else to get thrown to. I mean, they're not just going to continuously run the ball with Booker, so you can look at those guys. Otherwise, we got Schefter here saying Ramondre Stevenson for the Patriots is out, so that's good for Harris. We already knew about Sterling Shepard and Devontae Parker, but Tevin Coleman is also out. And it looks like Michael Carter's starting to get a little bit of work in this backfield. So that's pretty good for Michael Carter owners, especially if you picked them up there. Or even in your deeper leagues, Ty Johnson might be a more startable option for you in like a multiple flex spot or something like that. But so far, that's what we're really seeing. There's a couple other people that are game time decisions that we're really waiting on. One of those being Darren Waller. We're not sure what's happening with him right now. So that's definitely a situation to monitor. It's also a later game. So it's something you want to keep an eye on, especially if you're, say, you're a car owner and you're a little concerned. You're right to be concerned about that because Waller is his top target, but also Waller hasn't really done much in the last 2 weeks. So it shouldn't be too much of a concern because you've already pretty much been dealing with 2 to 3 reception games. So, yeah, definitely something to monitor on that front.
All right, so appreciate those injury updates. Now I do want to go into a couple of the questions that we got coming in. If you haven't already, please check us out. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram at LMF Scramble, on Facebook at The Last Minute Fantasy Scramble. And you can catch us live every Sunday at 11:30 on Twitch, twitch.tv/LMF Scramble. We'll be answering all of your questions, whatever platform you choose to follow us on. Also on podcasts, we do release podcasts every Tuesday for waiver updates. So Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, check it out. We are going to be there. And please give us a follow, subscribe, do whatever you can to help the show, and we will do our best to help you win your fantasy football leagues. So we did have a few questions coming in through Twitter at LMF Scramble, starting with Jeremy, who asks, still confident in starting Carr with Waller out? I can add and start Burrow, Darnold, Daniel Jones, Winston, or Wentz instead.
Yeah, so I basically answered this to this guy. I still like Carr without Waller. He's really built up a connection with Henry Ruggs, which is what we were waiting for like last season, and it's just really starting to show itself now. And Hunter Renfrow. But like I said, Waller's a game time decision. We don't know if he's going to go or not just yet. But either way, I still rank Burrow higher. I really like this game with Burrow, going against the Ravens. I think this game, we always try to predict what like one of the more surefire like offensive games are going to be. I think this is going to be one. I think they're both going to throw the ball a lot. Lamar is going to run the ball a lot, but I really like Burrow, and he's been lighting Chase up. And I think T. Higgins is going to be very sleepy this week. A lot of people are kind of like fading him, but I think that he's going to get some work. He's going to draw, but Jamar Chase is going to draw a lot of attention and possibly double coverage. So I think Higgins is going to get a lot of work there. So I do like Burrow a little bit more.
All right, thank you. Now this question coming in from Matthew via Facebook. Jamal Williams, Kenyon Drake, or Gaskins? PPR. 2 flex spots needed, and that is Gaskin. There's no plural Gaskins.
I mean, if we had multiple Gaskins, we'd be losing every week. Oh. So he's been just so. I'm fading Gaskin myself, and I own him. If I have better options, I normally go. He's so unpredictable that I don't think you can really go with him every week. But
yeah, he could get you 3 yards or he could get you 2 touchdowns. You never know.
This is true. And normally when he gets the touchdowns, he's on your bench already. It was Williams, Gaskin, and Drake, I believe he said.
That's correct.
And he needs 2.
Yep. Wait, no. Yeah, 2. So
okay.
Sorry, Matthew.
For me, Williams, it's the same thing. Williams is in a similar category, but he does have like a consistent floor of like 4 or 5. And I mean, I know we're all struggling with the bye weeks. Like I have to start Jamal Williams myself this week. So I think it's going to be for me, Williams and Gaskin. I don't believe in the Drake thing and the hype. It would have to be Josh Jacobs getting hurt and going out, and then like Barber not doing anything for Kenyon Drake to get it. Like, yeah, Kenyon Drake's going to show up every once in a while and claim a touchdown, but I don't see him getting more of the work. So I like Williams and Gaskin there.
All right, a question coming in from Ryan on Facebook: Tyler Higbee or Ricky Seals-Jones?
Who was the other one before RSJ?
Tyler Higbee.
Oh man, that's close. I like both a lot. I own both. I would take Higbee just because Matt Stafford's doing a really good really good job of spreading the ball around. I do like him a lot, and I do think that the Washington football team, I almost said something else. They're going to have a hard time getting the ball around, but I still do like RSJ. I don't think you could go wrong either way, but give me Higbee over that.
All right.
We got some questions in Twitch. I don't know if you're seeing this.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
I'll ask you a question.
Oh, here we go.
NRC0710 asked Christian Kirk or Tyler Lockett PPR.
I feel I feel you got to go Lockett here. I'm not a big Lockett fan, and I love this Cardinals offense, but that Cardinals offense is so hit or miss with any of these guys besides DeAndre Hopkins, and even him you got to be careful with because Kyler Murray's spreading the ball around a lot. I may be forced to start 2 Cardinals receivers in one of my leagues, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you want to go for the risky play, I'd say Christian Kirk can go out there and get you 130 yards and a touchdown. But you got to be careful with it. I think the safe play is to go Lockett, even with Geno Smith at quarterback. But what's your take on this one, bud?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's tough because it could be Hopkins, it could be Kirk, it could be Moore. Now Zach Ertz is in the mix of things, but I mean we know that Kyler Murray doesn't really like his tight end too much either. But at the same same breath, Tyler Lockett has not been heavily targeted by Geno Smith. I think last week he only had two receptions on like 3 or 4 targets. And it looks like DK is going to be the main guy there right now, and so we kind of want Russell Wilson back sooner than later if we're in this situation. I think it's really close, but I do think that Lockett has the more upside and the more the chance to get a touchdown or a deep play. So I do like him a little bit more, but I do think probably safer floor might be Christian Kirk.
All right.
I would go Lockett myself.
Interesting. So, this question actually is coming in through Instagram from Tommy, who asks, "Need a receiver today, Kirk or Rondell Moore?" So, going back to those Cardinals receivers.
Do you want to take this? I mean, you know it a little bit better than I do. I like Moore personally, just because I'm a fanboy of his.
Yeah, I really like Rondell Moore. I'd say that Moore might be the upside play, while Kirk may be the safe play, depending on what you need. I love Moore, and Moore's actually being used in the rushing game a little bit as well, with a lot of these trick gadget plays. But he's also open all around the field, and Kyler Murray could get the ball anywhere at any time. So I would lean Moore, but it is going to be, at least for the first half, there's going to be a lot of passing done by the Cardinals until they run up the score enough, and then expect a lot of rushing in the second half. But you got to be careful with this one. I think I think the Cardinals are going to put up a lot of points today, but expect them to put up those points early and then play a lot more conservatively during that second half. But if you have to choose, I think I'm in agreement. I'm going to go more with this one. All right, so let's see. We got a stack question for you. Ready for some stacks?
Sure.
Darnold and DJ Moore or Tannehill and A.J. Brown?
Oh man, those are pretty good. Not so much on the Darnold side, but I do like DJ Moore a lot, and but I also do like this Titans Kansas City game. It's going to be friggin' awesome. I think the better stack is Tannehill and A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is good to go. He had, I do believe is, correct me if I'm wrong, 8 receptions last week. I'm going to pull it up. I have it here. And that game's just going to be a shootout, period. Tennessee's really hyped coming off of the Buffalo win. 7 receptions for 91 yards last week for A.J. Brown. He was targeted 9 times in a game we thought he was going to be limited in. really started to show up. Yeah, everybody was a little, scared and
when he said he's
questioning
limited till
things.
week 10.
Yeah, pretty much. But he's gonna play, and I mean Tennessee's really riding that high. If they beat Kansas City, they're emerging as a front runner in the AFC. So this is a very big game. They're playing at home. Tannehill showed that he could still play, very well. I'm streaming Tannehill this week, so I really like him. But I do think it's the better stack, especially. I mean, even if Julio plays, he's gonna go in. He's gonna get hurt probably a few plays in. We don't want to say that, but like if that ends up happening, then AJ Brown is gonna see majority of the work, and you kind of assume, of course they're gonna rely on the running game, but like if we see another dump off pass to Derrick Henry, that bodes well for Tannehill especially. So
we're going with the Titan stack.
Yes, sir.
All
like
right.
it a lot.
So got another question coming in through our Twitch. Another one from Dabs for Days. Standard League, 1 point per 25 yards. So touchdowns are important. Are we going with Waddle or Scary Terry?
Oh man, that's a unique format. I like Terry more because he's gonna play, and I think Heineke's gonna.
Terry's not finding the end zone a lot.
Also true, yeah. But I mean,
I think because of this particular format, where basically receivers are being scored the same as quarterbacks, is standard, so not PPR either. So I think, with these things both in mind, I think that Terry McLaurin is like a nightmare for that format in particular. Because Terry McLaurin, I think, is going to get the most yards out of the two of them. I think that Waddle may actually get the most catches, although I think that may be close. But since it's a standard league, that won't make too much of a difference. But Terry's not finding the end zone, and Waddle is. Tua's looking for him, and even Jacoby Brissett looking to him in the end zone. So I would go Waddle in this situation, but in regular leagues, I'd say you got to go Scary Terry. In agreement?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I think, if last week was any indication, we're not going to see Waddle get a lot of yards. I think we're going to see him get more underneath catching and finding the box based off of the short red zone plays like we did last week.
Man, so 100 yards gets you 4 points. That's crazy.
I mean, well, we all have our variations of this. I mean, in most of the leagues that I run, it's once a receiver cracks 100 yards, then they get a bonus 3 points. So I mean, it's close to being the same thing. There's in my dynasty league, if you have a quarterback that exceeds 300, they get 3 points. If they exceed 400, they get another point. So like, there's all sorts of incentive.
Yeah. But I'm all for the extra scoring with less scoring like this, the 25. Man, that's a
yeah, it's interesting.
All right, so I've got another question coming in via Facebook. So standard tough scoring, so touchdown dependent, 1 point per 25 yards. Should I go with Booker or Freeman? As running back 2, leaning Freeman with Murray out and Booker having a tougher matchup. So I think this might be the same kind of situation here. So Booker or Freeman?
I'm gonna lean Freeman. I know it's both are neither a situation you want to be in.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be clear about that. But the few times we have seen Freeman, he has shown.
Freeman's going to be the leading back there now, like at least while Murray's out. So in a rush first offense. So I don't know. I think that Freeman might not be a bad play this week. You saw last week Latavius Murray, Devontae Freeman, and and Le'Veon Bell, they all got touchdowns. So, I mean, anything's possible, right?
Yeah, I mean, look at it this way: if they get within the 10-yard line, which they're going to a lot, then what? Like, then you have a higher chance of Freeman being able to punch it in if it's not Lamar vulturing. So, I mean, at least you know that the Ravens are capable of getting closer to the box than the Giants are with no wide receivers. You're going to rely on Evan Ingram to get your to get the offense moved down there. It's not going to happen. Let's just be clear about that. So I do like the chances for the Ravens to get closer to the box throughout the game to give a better opportunity for Devonta Freeman to actually get in there and score.
Absolutely. So, speaking of these Giants receivers, anybody have thoughts on starting Darius Slayton today? Bye weeks and injuries got me starting him and want opinions coming in from Martin. What do you think about Darius Slayton?
Oh yeah, so I mean, we just talked about this. I mean, if that's pretty much if it looks like he's going to go, then I think that you're good and you're safe there. I mean, he's going to get work, but again, keep in mind that these guys are playing Carolina. The matchup is it's okay, but I mean, the Giants have not really played too good, even when all of these guys are healthy. So it's definitely a little worrisome. If you have a better option, I would go ahead and start that. But I mean, Slayton, you can go ahead and fire up, but I only really like him as a flex play at best.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's going to be some tough matchups this week where you got to make some tough decisions, especially if you have a deeper bench and you don't want to be dropping anybody. You might be short at some positions. You might be dropping some guys you don't want to be dropping, and more likely than not, you're going to be playing guys you don't really want to be playing. So it is a tough week. This was a day that was, or a week that was marked in a lot of calendars early on in the season. A lot of draft nights looking all those best players coming off the boards with week 7 buys. A lot of people saying, all right, we're taking the L right here. But yeah, we're here to help you through it. Whatever questions you have, we are here to answer. So, want to talk a little bit with you, Bud. Were you able to catch that Thursday night football game that the Cleveland Browns and the Denver Broncos played?
Not much because I was out of town, but I was following on my phone and I did catch some of the updates. So I do know what happened, and I'm very happy about what happened because I started a certain somebody.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to talk to you about, and that was D'Ernest Johnson. Put on a really good performance. Cleveland has been one of the best rushing teams, especially fantasy football-wise, in the NFL, with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb and a strong offensive line. Chubb out, Hunt out. Somebody's got to run the ball, and there was a slight question of who it would be, but D'Ernest Johnson answered that quite well, putting up a tremendous performance. What was your biggest takeaway from his performance and from that game in general?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, really impressed. I had no choice. I swung for him in pretty much every league because he was there, just because I knew he was going to be the guy. And somehow, like in the leagues, I didn't even have the highest waiver priority. I ended up getting him. I don't know how that happened, but I was very happy because I did start him. And I mean, you look at the numbers; it's super impressive. 146 rushing yards. He had the touchdown. He had 2 receptions for 22 receiving yards. I mean, um, just great. I mean, his story of how he basically didn't even think he was going to be drafted and everything else. That's really cool too. LeBron shouted him out and he freaked out about that. That was really cool to see. He seems like a humble guy. He's hardworking. He's young, and we saw him briefly last year, and he looked decent. So I was lucky enough to get him in my dynasty league. I burned my first overall waiver priority, and it gave me a pretty good lead going into today. And I kind of hope that this guy's future is like really good. I mean, we know that right now he performed really well, of course, on Thursday. Everybody's talking about him. So if you do have him, you might be able to sell him to the Hunt or Chubb owner. Be like, hey, like, check it out. I got this guy. Do you want him? But at the same time, for long term, I'm kind of hoping that he does get a continued role in this offense. We don't know what's going to happen, but he is a restricted free agent with Cleveland next year. But you kind of hope that he might be able to find a good home. He might be starting running back somewhere else. But also, it's a good situation to keep an eye on, especially if they decide, oh, hey, we can go ahead and let Chubb take his time coming back next season, and we can just roll, or I mean, not next season, next week, and take our time. And same thing with Kareem Hunt, and just let Dearness go ahead and run for another couple of weeks, because now you know that he's a proven guy. Why not go ahead and let these guys keep going? The most important thing for the Browns right now is to win games, because they're still in the thick of everything. It's still very early. Let your stars recover, heal up, and come back. And if you have a guy in Case Keenum who has shown like he's still an okay quarterback, and you have Dearness who can run the ball like crazy, just go ahead and just keep winning games and stay alive.
Absolutely. So we do have this question coming in from Matthias on Twitter. 3 wide receiver spots: Ridley, Waddle, Higgins, Godwin. Who's the odd one out? And that's a good problem to have, especially in this week 7.
Yeah. For me, I think it's going to be Higgins. I do like Ridley and Waddle both in that game. I think it's going to be a great game to watch. And so those are both in for me. I know Higgins. I talked about Higgins being great, but I do like Godwin a little bit more with Antonio Brown being out. I mean, there's only a couple more options there, and you also have Gronk out, so it's going to be Godwin, Mike Evans, and not Scotty Miller. I forgot the other guy. New guy was elevated up. He's going to be in, and then your Cameron Brate. OJ Howard is out too, so it's like one of those guys is going to have to benefit. Now it could be Godwin or it could be Mike Evans. We don't know yet, but I do like
both.
Godwin. Yeah, it definitely could be, and I do like Godwin either way to at least get double digit points in a PPR format.
All right. So this question coming in from Jameson. Non-PPR, Julio or Michael Pittman Jr.?
Yeah, man, that's close. It looks like Julio is going to be active. I do really like Julio playing.
I'm actually stuck with this decision myself in a league where I'm trying to decide if Julio or Pittman. And
what are you doing?
I am flipping back and forth right now, so I'm very curious on your opinion. I mean, I've had Julio in, Michael Pittman. I don't know. Julio scares me a little bit, and this is the same issue I have with both of these Titans wide receivers. You gotta be, I don't know, these nagging injuries, especially like these hamstring injuries. It's not good, and it's hard to truly depend on a player to go out there and play. Michael Pittman has looked good, and I feel that now that Carson Wentz is back in better shape than he was earlier on in the season, I definitely do like Michael Pittman Jr. in this case, and I think that they both could have a good game, but I'm a little worried about Julio. And I've actually seen some posts about him being like a free agent in some leagues, which I definitely think that Julio's worth a roster. I don't think we're at that point yet, but Julio Jones.
Yeah, if I'm seeing Julio on waiver wire in my leagues, I'm picking them up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just like stashing them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a friendly reminder to scour your waiver or your free agent pools all the time. Like you go through it and click through every page and see what's floating around there, because sometimes you might find like a hidden gem or an Allen Robinson, or in my case last season, a Nick Chubb. It happens. Yeah, it's just
especially weeks like this, people are gonna make desperate moves and they'll be dropping guys. And some of these guys, I know there's a few names, especially the bigger names out there, that people had high expectations for this season, but haven't been looking very good. Allen Robinson or Kenny Golladay is a guy that I just found floating around as a free agent in one of my leagues. I scooped him up. Brandon Ayuk. I think that these are just some names that you look out for, and they've really been underperforming this season, but you know the talent that they're capable of. And I say if you have a bench spot, or if you want to try to roll without a kicker because you're that confident you're going to beat the other team, I'd say go. Take a flyer on these guys. Like, if I could grab a Kenny Golladay, and you saw before his injury last year, like going back to 2019, Kenny Golladay is super talented. Daniel Jones, I know there's questions about him as a quarterback, but when he needs to, he could sling it. I know, like, the whole wide receiver situation in New York is abysmal, to say the least, and you are seeing the emergence of Sterling Shepard, and Kadarius Toney had that crazy game. So, yeah, it's hard to say right now, but Kenny Golladay, found him floating around as a free agent pickup. I will take that in a heartbeat. So make sure to check your leagues, check what players are available, see what guys people sneakily dropped, so that they could try and grab somebody who just to fill out their roster spot. And also, don't be the person to drop somebody. If you're gonna get a loss in week 7 regardless, don't be dropping one of your best players who's playing on bye just to try to give yourself a fighting chance for a week that you're pretty sure you're going to lose. At the end of the day, losing 1 week is better than giving up one of your top quality players that will give you multiple losses down the road. So that's just my thoughts on it. I know it also depends on what kind of situation you're in, but I'd say this is a situation where you got to take advantage of those players that are being dropped on the waiver wire, and don't be the person who's dropping a high caliber player just to try to pick up a Darius Slayton or something.
Well said.
All right, that's it for my rant. Let's get to some more of your questions. All right, so we got Julio or Pittman. Did we answer that? Right now I'm starting Pittman, but I'm very tempted to just go back and go Julio now that he's given the official go ahead. Man, what do I do, bud? Julio or Pittman?
I think it's Julio, but only slightly. Just because I know it's standard for the other person, but Julio I like just a little bit more either way. Gonna be in a, like I said, we know that this is a very important game. There's a lot of important games today for various reasons.
I'm doing it. All Jameson, right. Let's ride with Julio. We're going to go out there, get the win. If I'm wrong, then it was Bud's idea.
What? Don't put this on me, man. No, but I like Julio if he's going to play. Like I said, we know that this is a very important game, and I don't know. I do like Pittman, but the weather is supposed to be kind of bad there. So we'll see if that has anything to do with it, but no bad weather in Tennessee. I can promise that.
Perfect. All right. Tommy's got another question for us. Kirk versus the Texans or Gaskin against the Falcons? Got a little flex question.
Dang.
Man, we've gone all over these Cardinals receivers. They're just so good.
Yeah, it's another one. It's going to be really close. Let me see. Check my rankings here.
All right. While you're looking over that, I'm going to go take a look at one of your other questions. We got Nathan asks Carr or Winston. I personally, without Carr's having a situation where you're not sure whether he's going to have Waller or not, I would almost say I kind of like Winston's matchup here going up on Monday Night Football against the Seahawks. I think he's in primetime good situation to put up a lot of points. Carr, you're not really sure what's going on with Darren Waller. I would keep an eye on that situation. I'm not sure if I would say that would be the difference maker to make me start Carr over Winston, but I'm a big fan of Winston this week in his matchup against the Seahawks. What do you think, Bud?
Yeah, it's if you start Winston, know what you're gonna get. You're either gonna get like less than 10 points or more than 30. So it's like it could be either one of those. He is the true boomer bust quarterback right now. He had four touchdowns the last game he played. So, and Seattle's defense is not all that great. There's no more Legion of Boom over there. So, I do like Winston quite a bit, but I think Carr is probably a safer play overall. So if you're looking to claw back or you want to just try to get, hope for the possibility of, 3 to 4 or 5 touchdowns, Winston is capable of doing that, but at the same time, he's capable of throwing many interceptions. So keep that in mind. But I do like Winston just a little bit more because it's a little more. He was one of my streaming quarterbacks for this week, so I'm gonna stay true to that and roll with him.
One of your streaming quarterbacks. Why don't you tell us more about that?
Oh yeah, we do this thing called streaming service on our Instagram page every week. On Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we do quarterbacks, we do tight ends, and we do defenses, and we try to give you 3 options to help you out every week.
All right, well said. So, in this situation, it's tight. We going Winston? We going
Yes.
Carr?
Winston for me. And to answer your other one, I'm gonna go Kirk.
All
I think
right.
Kirk is a little bit higher than unpredictable Myles Gaskins.
Multiple Gaskins. There's 30 Gaskins running around in the backfield, one for each offensive coordinator. Oh, man, I hate my team. All right. Damian Williams or Jacoby Myers, PPR?
Jacoby Myers in PPR. We all know exactly what's going to happen with Damian Williams and Khalil Herbert there. We don't know if that's going to be a true 50-50 split. Especially with this guy coming off of COVID protocols. So, do like Williams, Myers a lot.
Khalil Herbert coming off of a great game.
And if you're like really like a glutton for self-punishment, you can watch Jacoby Myers try to find the end zone because he still hasn't done that yet. And everybody's kind of watching and waiting for that first day. He almost had it. He had a touchdown, but it got called back due to a holding penalty. So, or some penalty. I don't know if it was a hold, but it was definitely an offensive penalty that ended up taking away his touchdown. So, I'm starting Jacoby Myers as a flex. I do like him, especially in a matchup against Jets. I think it's going to be really fun. Yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun matchup to watch.
So we're going Jacoby?
Yeah.
All right, Jacoby, making him get that first touchdown. We'll will it into existence together. All right, Bud. You know what time it is?
Oh, man.
Are you ready?
I guess. Ready as I'll ever be.
So, every week we go into a quick rapid-fire breakdown. We go through all the NFL matchups, and I usually give Bud a little less preparation than this, and we usually have multiple people to do this with, so really throwing Bud in the hot seat right now with our rapid-fire breakdown, starting with the Washington football team at the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I really like Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams stack here today. I think this is going to be a real runaway for the Packers. Washington, I'm really leery on Antonio Gibson. He's hurt, and they end up pulling him early all the time. I don't really like that. I do think J.D. McKissic's going to get a lot of work, and hopefully Scary Terry can find the box.
All right, our next matchup, we have the Kansas City Chiefs at the Tennessee Titans.
This is going to be an awesome game to watch. I'm definitely keeping an eye on this. The Titans are coming off a big win off of my Buffalo Bills last week, and they're looking to capitalize. If they end up winning this game, they're a front runner in the league. So definitely looking to see if Derrick Henry can continue what he's doing, being the best fantasy running back right now. Julio, we all know what he's going to do. A.J. Brown, we all know what he's going to do. And Chiefs, you hope Patrick Mahomes can connect with on the deep ball with
Falcons at the Dolphins. Let's go.
It's going to be a good game. I'm wearing this jersey for a reason. Mainly, I don't care who wins. I just want Calvin Ridley to have a good game. I do have Dolphins winning this game. If they don't, it's more turmoil for that organization. I like Tua a lot this week, going against a weak defense, and I do like Waddle definitely being on the other side of the ball there. Falcons, I think it's going to be a Ridley
Jets at
today.
The Patriots.
Another good AFC East matchup right here. Michael Carter is going to get a majority of the work here. Tevin Coleman is out, so that's going to be a very good start. I'm kind of upset because I'm facing him this week in a league. Patriots, I'm looking to see Mac Jones really ball out. We talked about Jacoby Myers. I think he's going to be the beneficiary there, and Damian Harris is going to get a lot of work on the ground.
All right, we have Darnold returning to New York, but against the Giants.
Ooh, yeah, it should be really nice. It's not New York, it's New Jersey. So we talked about the Giants' receiving core being decimated. I think it's going to be Evan Ingram on that side of the ball and Booker the other side. Panthers, remember CMC is still out. I do like Hubbard a lot here. I think he's going to get a lot of work today. And Darnold and DJ Moore probably going to connect a lot.
All right, we have the Bengals at the Ravens.
Again, another good game. I know a lot of teams are off this week, but there's so many good games to fill in for that, and this is one of them. I do really like Joe Burrow here. I do have a Joe Burrow prop. I'm looking for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns today. If so, I win over $100. So I'm definitely in on that. I do like him and Chase, and I do like Mixon. Ravens, I like Lamar Jackson running the ball a lot, and I do like Marquise Brown to find the box multiple times.
All right, next we have the Philadelphia Eagles at the Las Vegas Raiders.
Going to be interesting. We don't know if Waller's status is good to go or not for this game yet. It's going to be a true game time decision, so keep an eye on that. Hope you have another option if it ends up going that way, because it is a later game. Josh Jacobs is going to play today, so we do like that. Carr does have his other options, but look on the other side. Keep an eye on Jalen Hurts, because he's been kind of dominating things.
Lions at the Rams. Revenge games?
Yeah, this is a Rams blowout here. I know the Lions are trying, but Goff has looked so sketchy. I don't really like it. You hope that Swift can put up points on the board. Same with Jamal Williams, but they're going against a tough Rams defense. Hawkinson is going to play. I do like him maybe to get some receptions. A Rams side, Matthew Stafford with Kupp and Bobby Trees. Really like that a lot.
Houston at Arizona.
Yeah, same thing. This one's another blowout for me. No way the Cardinals lose this game. The line is almost
18
minus
points,
19 and a half.
Yeah.
19 and a half now. It's moved. Yeah, it's moved. Crazy. I do like the receivers to get some work, but I do like the running backs to end up getting the carries here, because they're going to go up early. Davis Mills.
The Bears at Tom Brady.
Yeah, it should be interesting to watch, but I still like the Bucs here. They're at home. Should be easy. Bucs have the line at almost 12, and AB is out, so look to see which receiver gets the majority of the work there. We do think it's going to be Evans and Godwin pretty even. Bears side, Damian Williams is back, so him and Herbert are probably going to split, but you hope that Justin Fields could get going. Find Allen
Colts
Robinson,
at Niners. Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, I like this game too. It's going to be fun to watch. And it could be anybody's game, honestly. The over-under is really low. The weather is not supposed to be nice. It doesn't rain too much in California. I don't know if anybody's a weatherman here, but it's going to be. So definitely you look to see if Carson Wentz can keep playing decent. They haven't been that bad. He hasn't been that bad with his wide receivers. But
Saints at the Seahawks.
Yeah, Seahawks are still hurting, man. We have many questions at running back here. We don't know if it's going to be Alex Collins. Pete Carroll says yes, but Rashad Penny's coming back, so we don't know about that. Saints, like Alvin Kamara, of course. Jameis Winston, if you have to stream a quarterback, that's fine. And maybe Callaway finds the end zone.
And time.
God, man, it's difficult doing by yourself.
Nobody to help you out. Nobody to swing back and forth. I think you did a pretty good job.
At least you get like a 30-second window. You get like a little break, and you're able to like catch your breath real quick. But yeah.
Well, I talk about some teams. Man, look at these bye week teams staying at the bottom of this list. Got Buffalo, Dallas, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Los Angeles, and Jacksonville on bye. Making this one of the toughest weeks in the fantasy football season. Before we get back to some questions, was there any game that you wanted to specifically break down a little deeper than that 30 seconds I gave you?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple, but I think maybe the Colts and the 49ers. I didn't really get to the 49ers side of things because, these guys are coming back off the bye. So it's definitely worth talking about here really fast. We do know that Trey Lance is not playing. He's apparently hurt, but so they're bringing Jimmy Garoppolo back in. Jimmy GQ. But so he's coming back in, and you're starting Deebo Samuel. I do think that Ayuk is going to have a bounce back week this week. Apparently, he's looked very good in practice. Deebo has been throwing the highest of praises towards him. I think this is a get-right game for him. But, again, we talked about the weather. We don't really know what it's going to do. I think a lot of times when we talk about, oh, man, the weather's really bad, it ends up not it being a non-factor. I'm not too concerned about it. So, I mean, you have that going on. And then, of course, we're keeping an eye on the ever-growing running back questions in San Francisco. We don't know who it is. Apparently, JaMychal Hasty was brought back in off of IR. We know Jeff Wilson's coming back soon. So, I mean, it's a situation to monitor, but I'm not starting any of these guys. I'm not starting no Trey Sermon. I'm not messing with it at all until
Trey Sermon's just straight up droppable at this point.
Yeah, I'm. It's a situation to watch, but it's a situation to stay away from. It's akin to the Ravens situation. I don't like it one bit. But on the other side, Colts. T.Y. Hilton comes back for a game and instantly gets hurt, so he's out again. But we do like Pittman. Pittman has been playing very good. I do believe like Paris Campbell is out, which sucks because he was looking really good. So, I mean, you look towards that. Maybe Mo Alley Cox continues being decent. I'm still super scared about that. I wouldn't pick him up unless it was a desperation ad or you're super thin at tight end. But Jonathan Taylor has just been a freak, man, a mutant.
Outside of Derrick Henry, he's had some of the nicest single rush plays in the entire league this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It brings me to a new situation and a new discussion that I think we need to be changing exactly who our top ranked running backs are and like what we're looking at towards draft season. We already talked about it. I've been super down on Christian McCaffrey, but he can no longer be the number one running back. I don't want to hear this argument, oh, when healthy, he's the best. Yeah, of course, when healthy. We dealt with it all season last season. He played 2 games this season, got hurt again. We're right back to square one. Why are we not respecting Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor for that matter? Like, I really wish that I got Jonathan Taylor in more leagues. And it's also absolutely disrespectful that in our Superflex league that I was able to pick him up in the 3rd round. And, like, I'm telling you right now, like, Jonathan Taylor is easily within the top 5 of running backs. And Derrick Henry needs to be number 1 overall next year.
I think one of the biggest things that people were thinking about Derrick Henry, and this is odd to think about, going into this season, they're like, yeah, he can't stay healthy, like, even just because he's like one of the only top guys who hasn't really gone down yet. But he's proven to be like the exception to that rule. Like, this man is an absolute animal. Like, you see the way he runs, the strength, the speed. And I made a very regrettable trade earlier on in the season, trading him away that I don't want to get into. So,
real fast. So Derrick Henry's like workout regimen is ridiculous. If you've never seen it, you should check it out. But he is like a pure like specimen running back, and I wouldn't be surprised if he exceeds 500 carries this season. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't break the rushing record this season.
Well, he's got an extra game to do it, so I think that it's his to break. I think he very well can do it.
I think he'll do it without the extra game.
Yeah. So, we're going to get back to a few of these questions. We've got a few coming in on Facebook, so just want to hammer through these real quick.
Yeah, let's go.
Deshaun asks, Slayton or Hardman?
Man, that's tricky. I think they're both ranked in similar spots. I do think it's going to be a higher scoring offensive game for the Chiefs. I'm going to go Hardman here just because I don't really know what's going to happen with the Giants. I know Slayton's the only guy there, but at least Hardman, is capable of being the only guy targeted on one single drive by Patrick Mahomes, because that's kind of how he operates, right? It's either like it's Tyreek, or it's Kelsey, or it's Pringle, or it's Hardman. Pringle. But I like Hardman here. I think it's going to be a good one.
All right, A-Rob or Renfro, PPR?
Ooh, man. We're definitely a glutton for self-punishment this week. Oh, man. I don't like either. I like Allen Robinson a lot, but I don't know if it's a Fields thing or if it's an A-Rob thing or it's a Matt Nagy thing.
All right. Look at me. Everybody watching right now, look me in the eyes. Allen Robinson is coming back to form today. I'm calling it right here. You could record this right now if you don't believe me and delete it if he doesn't. But I'm telling you right now, Allen Robinson is going to have himself a day. And I feel like just as I'm saying this, he's going to walk away with a goose egg. But no, believe me. Allen Robinson is primed for a big game. He is way too talented not to. He has a juicy matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I love Allen Robinson today. I expect him to go off, and I'll be talking a little bit more about him later. But
I have a question.
Yes.
T. Higgins or Allen Robinson?
Allen Robinson.
Oh, I don't know, man. Should I?
No, probably not. You should go Higgins. I do like A-Rob today, but this is more of a just seeing his past body of work and seeing his matchup than seeing what I've actually looked at on the field this year, which has been concerning as an A-Rob owner. But from what I've seen on the field, and he is getting a little more targets, but it's just really not enough for the draft position that he was picked in. Not enough for a man who, he is such a talented receiver, and I think throughout his career, he has just gone from bad quarterback to bad quarterback, bad system to bad system, that he has just been so underutilized throughout his career. And he's a guy I've been following for a while. He helped lead me to the championship. I ended up losing the championship last year, but I loved Allen Robinson last year. Actually, no, that's wrong. I traded him away. But either way, I'm a big A-Rob guy, more as a real player than as a fantasy player, although I do like him in fantasy. Just this year has not been his year. But I am expecting a good breakout game from him today just because of how talented he is, his good matchup, and I feel that him and Fields, they just need more time to get on the same page together, and I think that this is the game where he does have that actual breakout game.
I'm rooting for it. Believe me, I'm really rooting for it. Just I need I need Fields to show up, and I hope that he by the end of the season he picks it up. I didn't see this happening for myself, but in my dynasty league, I did pick him up as one of my quarterbacks, and I picked him up early because there was a huge run on quarterbacks. So I wanted to get Fields because we thought he was going to be more, but I thought it was going to be in a lose now, like build up my team later situation in my dynasty league, and now it's looking like I might be like middle of the pack. So now I have to try.
Middle of the pack's a dangerous spot, though.
No, but still, I mean, I was at like dead bottom, and now I'm starting to like really come back and put a hurting on people. And I have some good long term plays in Dynasty, and I really hope that Fields breaks out, because if him and Lamar Jackson are my quarterbacks going forward, I'm super happy with that. So we'll see what happens. I'm rooting for him.
Kevin K. Mac McCartney asks, Darrell Williams or Cordarrelle Patterson?
Oh, man. How do you have these guys?
I don't know.
Oh, man, that's tough. I mean, just because Cordarrelle's been played so good, but...
Like, I'm going Cordarrelle, but I'm trying to set my lineup now, and I'm saying, wait a minute. He's actually got a nice matchup himself, looking at Williams.
Darrell Williams.
It is hard setting your lineup last minute while doing the last minute fantasy scrambles. So
yeah, I've been looking at all mine, trying to make sure that they're where I'm at.
All these injury updates, everything. Got to make sure we win our leagues as well as your leagues.
And survival pool. I'm looking at the suicide pool right now.
Nah, every time, the few times this year I've benched Cordarrelle Patterson, I've regretted it. So I'm riding him out. Let's go Cordarrelle. Cordarrelle Patterson. That's it.
Yeah, whatever.
He's been in the league long enough that I should know his name correctly.
Yeah,
all right.
This is true.
Malcolm asks another Renfro question. Renfro or Alex Collins at flex half-point PPR?
Oh, man. If you want to play it safe, go Renfro. Pete Carroll is known to not be the most trustworthy when he specifically says, yes, this guy is going to play. And we know that Penny is back. We don't know what's going on with Alex Collins, truly. I do like Alex Collins as a player. He moves very good. He's a hard-working running back. But if he ends up being a last-minute scratch and you end up with 0 on your bench, then what? Are you going to drop somebody and go pick up, Rashard Penny if he ends up being the guy there? Or are you going to pick up DJ Dallas if he ends up being the guy there?
It's hard when you have such a late game. So yeah, I think Renfro's a good safe bet for this, especially with the way. And I think it also helps if Waller is out to have Renfro there. So we do have another question coming in from our Twitch from Mark D33. And I think this question may be a little mixed up, but he says, need tight end. Would you drop Hunter Henry for Zach Moss? I imagine saying, would you drop Zach Moss for Hunter Henry? Don't want to drop backup Schultz. So, would you drop Zach Moss for Hunter Henry?
I mean, if you're good at running back, yeah. I mean, obviously you don't want to get rid of Schultz. But this is the problem with streaming or with the buys. Sometimes you have to make risks to, keep your team together and or to at least get your points up on the board. I mean, I would say if you're good at running back, you could go ahead and cut Moss. If you have somebody else that's a little more lower on the totem pole, drop them instead of Moss. But if you're good on running back, you could totally get rid of him. I think Hunter Henry's due to have a decent day today, so he'd be a good pickup in the short term. But as long as you're good at running back and it's not going to hurt you too much, you could go ahead and do that and get away with it and hope that you can pick him up or another free agent like next week.
Yeah, so if that is what you were asking, then I would say, yeah, Zach Moss may be the guy that you may need to drop. I'd be interested to see who your other options are to drop. I know that Buffalo Bud over here is a little higher on Zach Moss than some of us are. He does have I think that he's a safe floor guy, especially to fill in for some of these bye week situations. But if you need a tight end, you need a tight end. So I think that he is a safe drop if you absolutely need to. But I think he's a good guy to have on your bench and be able to plug and play in certain situations. All right, so we got some more questions coming in from Facebook. Another Christian Kirk question from Justin, who asks, PPR, who should I start? Christian Kirk versus Houston or Marquez Callaway versus Seattle? Is Michael Thomas coming back?
When's that happening? It's not happening this week.
Said with Michael Thomas coming back. I didn't see that happening. But still for this week, I don't think he's coming back this week. So Kirk.
Yeah, it's Kirk for me, but yeah, no word on Michael Thomas yet. We do know let me double check. But we do know
I don't know about.
Yeah, we do know that he is on his way back. Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything. And even when he does come back, don't let that take away, because when he does come back, he's probably going to be on a pitch count anyways. So, like, don't be worried about any of that, especially if you're going with Callaway. But, keep in mind that Callaway should be regarded as a flex play here and not like a wide receiver one or anything.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go in. We got some more questions. Hunter asks, Mecole Hardman, Hunter Renfrow, or Tyler Lockett, full PPR start too.
Okay. So difficult. I'm going to go with Lockett for one. I know it's probably an unpopular opinion, but I still think you have to start him. And then the other one, I would probably go Hardman.
So, Hardman over Renfrow.
Yes.
All right, so we are going Tyler Lockett and Mecole Hardman. All right, Chris says, help with 2 exclamation marks. PPR, Antonio Gibson or Devonta Freeman. Bonus, need a tight end replacement for Waller. So, I'll get to your bonus question real quick. If you have a question about tight end streamers, hey, check out the streaming service. We offer it on Instagram every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Every Thursday, we post our Tight End Thursday video, go over 3 top streaming tight ends. Encourage you to check that out if you want to look at some tight end options. Some of the guys that we went over there, I don't know, do you have some good tight end situations? I know you got to look at who is out there. I know Ricky Seals-Jones is a guy we've talked about a lot. I'm trying to think off the top of my head some good streaming tight end situations.
I got one.
Yeah?
How about CJ Uzomah?
Hey, I'm rolling with
Cincinnati.
him. I picked him up in one of my leagues, and I'm rolling with him.
Hey, he's got multiple touchdowns in the last few weeks. We know that Joe Burrow likes to throw to him, and everybody else is busy covering Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd and everybody else. I mean, it's no question that he's not like a tight end one or anything. He's more middle of the pack tight end two, but with tight end one upside. So I mean, if you're really looking for a guy, let's see where he's rostered. 17% of Yahoo leagues, 9% of ESPN leagues. If you're in like desperation play and there's not much there, I guarantee you that CJ is floating around on the waiver wire somewhere.
Absolutely. So for the first part of the question, that was Antonio Gibson or Devontae Freeman.
I still think that you have to roll with Gibson here because he is going to get to work. We know he's active. We know he's going to play. And we really don't know like the full extent of the Ravens running game right now. So, I mean, go with Gibson. I know he hasn't been putting up like mind blowing performances or anything, but it's probably the safer floor play here in this regard.
Absolutely. All right, so let's see here. I think, let me see, we are getting 10 minutes from game time, so I think it's time to go over a little breakout player of the week. Now, for those of you who are new to the show, our breakout player of the week segment, we go off of ESPN's PPR projections, and the four of us who are members of the show, we go around and choose our top player that we expect to exceed those ESPN projections, and see who will exceed it by the most points, who will break out most past their ESPN PPR projections. So, Bud, I will start with you. Who do you have this week for breakout player of the game?
So we chatted earlier about the Giants wide receiver situation there, and I really like Dante Pettis. I really think that he's going to pull up and get a lot of work. And I'm actually seeing on Twitter right now a lot of fantasy experts are actually picking him up and starting him. And I mean, if that's where we're at right now, that just kind of shows once all these injury reports are flying in, I guess people are in this situation where they don't have a choice. So I mean, if you're one of these giant receiver owners and you have nobody else, there are people that don't have any options. I mean, you could go ahead and go with Pettis. I'm trying to check his rankings. I think the projected points went up since I announced that I wanted him.
Uh-oh. All right, so my player, I mentioned him a little bit already today, and that's Allen Robinson. I love his matchup this week against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think he's going to break out in the true sense of the form this week. He is due for a big game. He's just way too talented not to, and I'm hoping that him and Justin Fields finally find that connection today and get him into the end zone, get him a lot of yards. I am very high on Allen Robinson this week. The two other members for our show, we have Bobby Digital Janis coming in with one of his favorite guys in A.J. Dillon, and John Viveros actually with a player that we talked about recently, that is Hunter Henry, going for John's choice. So our four guys this week are Dillon, Hunter Henry, Allen Robinson, and Pettis. So Dante Pettis. So those are our breakout players of the game. All right, so we are now just 7 minutes away from game time. Here to answer any of your last minute fantasy questions. So if you have any before game starts, please feel free to drop them in our Twitch comments, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're here to answer on all platforms. Anywhere you find us, we are at LMF Scramble. So before we get going, Bud, what is your most excited game looking at this 1 o'clock slate? If you could be tuning into one game, what is it going to be?
For me, it's going to be Bengals Ravens. I think that's going to be a great divisional matchup. Really like it. And talking about punishment, I decided to pick the Cincinnati Bengals in suicide this week. I don't have many safe plays. I don't trust
against the Ravens.
Yep, I don't. I already have money on the Bengals this week, so. But I don't trust my other plays. My other safest plays in survival. I can't pick the top ones. I can't pick the Cardinals. I can't pick the Packers because I already did. I can't pick the Rams. I can't pick the Buccaneers because I already did. I can only pick the Patriots against the Jets, and I don't trust it.
That is actually my play. I like the Patriots this week a lot against the Jets, so that was my play.
I'm getting a bad feeling. Like, I think New England will win the game, but last time I picked against the Jets, didn't turn out good for me. But yeah, the only other game I really like on survival is probably Carolina over New York, and even that I'm still a little weird on. So I'm gonna just roll the dice and go with the true underdog here. And hope that I come out on top. If not, and I have my first strike, but that's fine. But I like that game a lot. I do like Tennessee and Kansas, and they're both 1:00 games. So there's a lot to look forward to on the 1:00 slated games.
Oh, we just had a ton of questions just stream in. Maybe that's because I had not refreshed my page.
Let's fire
on
through
Facebook. All right. David asks, full PPR, Mr. My hamstring is always injured Julio or Marquez Callaway.
Oh, man, yeah. I think you got to go with the hamstring guy here.
Julio!
Yeah.
All right, John asks, full point PPR, flex spot, Jacoby Myers or Darnell Mooney?
Oh, man, both are really close. I do like both a lot, but I like Jacoby Myers better.
All right, Myers. All right, Justin asks, who should I start, Christian Kirk or Marquez Callaway? I think we got this question already, and I think the answer was Kirk. So... going Kirk here. George asks Julio Jones or AJ Green.
Ooh, Julio.
Julio! All right. Austin asks flex half PPR, Allen Robinson or Jacoby Myers. Getting a lot of the usual suspects today.
What was it again?
Allen Robinson or Jacoby Myers. I think you guys know my answer already.
He's probably going to go Allen Robinson, but I'm going to go Jacoby Myers.
Ooh, you know what? For the sake of answering Austin, I'll leave with that, but my sneaky guy here is Allen Robinson. All right. Amy asks, I have Mixon, Edmond, and Swift. Which two should I play standard? Sorry, benching Mixon? Probably not. Or benching Swift?
No.
Probably not. I say you got to bench Edmonds here.
Yeah, bench Edmonds. Definitely rolling Mixon.
All right, we got 3 minutes left. Let's get through these. Edward asks, Jimmy G or Wentz?
Oh, man. That's close. I like Wentz a little bit more.
All right, Nin asks, Julio Jones or A.J. Dillon PPR? Julio! And somebody is typing a comment. As we speak, we are here to get you through these last-minute fantasy questions every week. Again, check us out here. We are live on Twitch, 11:30 a.m. Eastern to 1 p.m. Eastern, taking you up to those 1:00 games. Just answering all of your questions. Ask it on Twitter. Ask it on Instagram at LMF Scramble. Matthew needs one in the flex. Alex Collins versus New Orleans on Monday Night Football. Khalil Herbert at Tampa Bay at 3:25 Central Guy. Or Christian Kirk versus Houston.
Yeah, so many people liking Kirk today. So many Kirk questions. Man, this is tough.
Captain
Flex.
Kirk.
Kirk's a safer play. I'm fading Herbert. Collins is maybe supposed to go. If it's PPR, I like Kirk just being the safer play, I think. It's tough, though, man. Coin flip.
Coin flip, indeed. All right, so just going to stick around for a couple more minutes, see if we could get any of those last questions. All right, and we do. Hunter asks, Godwin, McLaurin, Ridley, Hollywood, pick two.
Was McLaurin one of them?
Yes, it is. Scary Terry.
Godwin and Scary Terry.
Ooh, going against Ridley?
Yes. It's close, but yes.
All right. So let's see here. Got another answer, or got another question coming in. Henry or Hawk? Oh, you got to go Hawk, right?
Yes.
All right. So we are going TJ Hawkinson, and we are running out of time. We called the last minute fantasy scramble for a reason. We are here in the last minute answering all your questions. Man, this is we got some football coming up, and I hope that I had enough time to set my lineups. Multitasking here, I probably ended up starting at least. I'm not rolling with a kicker this week. You should have joined in on the fun.
Nope, not me. I'm going with the Nick Folk, man.
I guess I could have dropped Khalil Herbert. I still can. We'll see. We'll see how the 1 o'clock games are looking, see if I need a kicker. But that is it for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, I mentioned it already, but you can catch us at LMF Scramble on Instagram and Twitter, at the Last Minute Fantasy Scramble on Facebook, and at LMF Scramble on Twitch, going live every Sunday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern to 1 p.m. And every Tuesday, we do release a waiver show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, wherever podcasts are found. Last but not least, we have our streaming service every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, taking you through our top streaming options at quarterback, tight end, and defense. I think I've said enough about promoting all of our shows, so thank you again for tuning in. For Buffalo Bud Stanio, I am Kevin K. Mac McCartney, and we will see you on Tuesday for our waiver shows. Good luck, everybody. Football has begun, and I'm ready to watch myself some football. Repping Calvin Ridley and saying to start McLaurin over him. All right, bye, everybody.
Oh, hey.
Just one last shot across the bow before hanging up.
Yeah, but it's tough, man. No, I have like Ridley and Godwin just like there. AB not being there.
NFL Red Zone. I'm even watching my Dolphins. I'm just kidding. All right, see you guys.